typecasting in Java. So firstly, we need to understand what's typecasting. So typecasting, this is when you assign a value of one primitive data type to another. So I'm going to explain more on this one with the help of an example. But before we jump into the example, let's start by knowing the two types of casting that exist in Java. So we have widening casting. This happens automatically in Java, so the compiler does it automatically for you. And this is where you are trying to convert from a smaller type to a larger type size. So for example, if in this case here it's showing like how they follow each other in terms of which one is bigger than the other. So in this example, for example, we have double being like the biggest in size among them all. So let's say, for example, if you declared your variable as int and you want now to store it in a different variable that you declared as double, here the compiler will convert it for you from int to double. Why? Because you are converting from something smaller to something bigger, so that something bigger can easily contain something smaller. So okay, let me try to just explain it with the help of an example here. So for example, we declared a variable, an integer. We declared an integer that we called my int, and we've assigned 9 to it. Then we have another variable, my double. It's double, it's not int, it's double. Now look here, we have my int. This is an integer and it's equal to 9. This integer, my int, we have assigned it to this my double, and this is not an integer, it's a double, but it's able to contain an integer. See this variable here, its data type is a double, but we are able to assign this my int, and this my int is an integer. So we're able to assign an integer to a double, and the casting here is happening automatically. The compiler is already converting this integer to a double for you. Since this integer is smaller than the double can easily contain it. So you don't need to do it explicitly. You can just write like this and the compiler converts everything for you. So if we try to run this simple code here, just to differentiate between the two, here we will try to print out my int, which we expect 9 to be printed out, and my double, my int, we assigned it to double, but since this data type is double, in this case the integer has been converted to a double. So let's try to run the program. We see, if I run the program, you will see that if you follow there, we have 9 and 9.0. so we have 9 and 9.0. so here my int has been printed out, and here for my double, this very int was converted to a double, and we didn't do any conversions, as the compiler did it automatically for us. Now let's go to the other type of casting, which is narrowing casting. This has to be done manually by you. You need to place the parentheses in front of the value. So let's try to see, but before we see the example, let me show something here. So we have the narrowing casting. The narrowing casting, we're saying it's when you are converting a larger type to a smaller size type. So for example, if let's say you want to convert from double to a float, or float to long, or long to int, or int to char, or char to short, so just like that, if you are converting from something bigger to something smaller, you now need to to tell the compiler that I'm converting, you need to show it explicitly. Why? Because something small can't contain something bigger, so you need to show it. So let me try just to uncomment this. First let me comment out this, and then let me try to uncomment this. Yeah, okay, so in this case we declared a variable my double. We've assigned this double to it. If you don't have much information about data types, the first video I made was about data types. I'll provide the link in the comment section, and you will understand what are doubles, what are floats, and things like that. So we've assigned my double to this variable, and then we've declared another variable which is of a data type integer. So we've declared an integer. Now we want to assign this number to my int. So remember, this number is a double, and if you want this double to be stored in this integer, you need to show within the parentheses, you need to show that int. This shows you are trying to convert from double to int. Why? Because this was a double, now I want to convert it to an integer. And since we are converting from something bigger to something smaller, we need to show it explicitly. We need to show in the parentheses that we are converting from a double to integer. So if I run the program here, it will work accordingly. Here it will really print out that, and in the other line here now it will print out an integer, because the double now would have been converted to the integer already. So let's try to run the program and see. So as you can see here, firstly it has printed out 9.78, and secondly it has printed out 9 only. Why? Because for this my int, we converted the double to an integer, and then we stored it there now. So I think it's clear about data type casting in Java. There are two types. We have widening casting. This happens automatically, and this is when you are converting a smaller type to a larger one. And also we have narrowing, where you want now to convert from larger to something small, and this has to be done manually by showing